This video is in supplement to, not replacement of, instruction manual LIZ-075, which is the instruction manual that covers installation, operation, and maintenance for this swiveling standpipe connection. That can be found on our website, tft.com, or by emailing our service team at service@tft.com. Today we're going to go over the 65 millimeter swiveling standpipe connection. This 90-degree, 65 millimeter swiveling standpipe connection allows you to install this on a dry pipe or a wet pipe system. And this rotates 360 degrees at all times, allowing for an easy connection to your 65 millimeter BIC right here. And you're able to operate this very easily with the slow close valve mechanism. This slow close valve, when it's closed, the green stem is flush with the handle, and when it's open, the green stem rises above the handle. And this allows you to supply any 65 millimeter line for a blitz fire or any other firefighting equipment. Let's begin with the installation procedure. You're going to need the following for installation of this swiveling standpipe connection. You're going to need a ring gasket for an 8-bolt 4-inch ANSI flange. That's specified in ASME 16.21 or ISO 7483. Once you have that ring gasket, you will also need some sort of torque wrench, and you will need 8 5/8 inch or 16 millimeter bolts, along with the washer and the nut to go with each bolt. When you're out in the field, first place the ring gasket on the flange, then place the swiveling standpipe on top of that gasket, and now you're ready to sequentially install these 5/8 inch or 16 millimeter bolts as specified in LIZ-075. You're going to tighten these bolts sequentially to 30, 60, and eventually 100% of the torque. And that torque value is 76 to 80 foot-pounds or 100 to 110 Newton meters. Getting down to the maintenance of the swiveling standpipe connection, there are 2 approved lubricants by TFT approved for this standpipe. Number 1, it's made by DuPont. It's called Molykote 112. It's a silicone-based lubricant for the seals, the O-rings, the valve itself, and even some of the ball bearing races. The other approved lubricant for this product is Break-Free CLP, which is used to lubricate any external components like the hose coupling or the handle mechanism. This appliance should be disconnected, cleaned, and visually inspected at least quarterly or as water quality would deem otherwise. The official inspection checklist for this swiveling standpipe can be found on page 12 of LIZ-075, which is that instruction manual available online or through our service department. And last but not least, service testing of this appliance should occur annually per NFPA 1962, and that can be found on nfpa.org. Now here are some common replacement items that we recommend having in stock as a large user of these standpipe connections. Number 1 is the handle replacement kit. Number 2 is the valve seat. Number 3 is the valve itself. Number 4 is the exit outlet piece that threads into the elbow of the standpipe connection. And last but not least, number 5 is the 65 millimeter BSP hose connection. Now we're going to go over the most common maintenance procedure or service item for this standpipe appliance, and that is lubricating the valve seat or replacing it entirely. So let's get into that next. So first things first, for general lubrication of the valve seat inside this elbow, you're going to open the valve. Inside that waterway down towards this portion of the valve, there's a black rubber seat, and you're going to use a brush or another tool and the Molykote 112 silicone lubricant, and you're going to insert that brush and brush lubricant on that black rubber seat that's in the waterway on this side of the valve. So that was for general lubrication of the seat. If you need to replace that valve seat entirely because the valve is leaking, or you want to lubricate it even more, this is another method to achieve the same results. You'll have to undo this screw here. And then you're able to thread this top part off and get to the valve seat itself that's in this elbow. I'll be going over basic lubrication points applicable to break-free CLP, which is one of the approved lubricants for TFT. You're going to spray the break-free CLP in these areas. This moving joint right here, and that's where the standpipe actually swivels on. So you're going to spray just a little bit, goes a long way, and move the joint back and forth. You're also going to spray here in the handle mechanism. And after you spray just a little bit, you're going to work the handle open and closed a couple times. You're also able to spray break-free CLP in the BSP connections. If you have to replace the BIC connection for whatever reason, you're going to need a strap wrench. Once you have that strap wrench, you will unthread this BIC connection. Take the new BIC connection and thread it on tight and tighten it with the strap wrench. So now we went over the replacement of the BIC connection, but for some reason, if you want to replace the entire outlet assembly or just replace this component, which is the threaded outlet of the standpipe, you're going to again need a strap wrench, but first you're going to take a 5/32 Allen wrench, or 4 millimeter in metric, and you're going to remove this set screw right here. And once that set screw is removed completely, you're going to take your strap wrench and then you'll be able to remove this entire assembly. Now, you can also use a spanner wrench here because this part, this little outlet part, has 2 notches that are suitable for a spanner wrench. Now, we already went over how to lubricate the valve seat. When the valve is in the open position, you take a brush and you can lubricate the top of that seat inside the valve mechanism. But if the valve starts to leak and you need to replace this rubber seat, here are the steps for that procedure. You're going to take your 5/32 4 millimeter Allen wrench again, and you're going to remove this set screw. Once that set screw is removed, you're going to need 2 strap wrenches to do this job, and we're going to unthread the top from the bottom, and we'll do that next. So once the 2 strap wrenches are in place, you're going to hold the bottom one stationary, and then the top one you're going to unthread the standpipe connection. Now it's going to be a little difficult. Remember, that top component is torqued to 50 foot-pounds or 68 Newton meters. So it's going to take some elbow grease. Once you get that and a couple rotations to the left, this part will unthread all the way off. And once it's all the way off, now you have access to that valve seat. And you can either inspect it completely or remove this valve seat with a metal pick and then replace it with a new valve seat and lubricating it with Molykote 112. After that's complete, you're going to thread it all the way down, and when you thread it all the way down, you're going to make sure this set screw hole aligns with one of these notches in the threads. So you're going to thread this all the way down to that torque value, make sure it's aligned with one of the notches, and reinstall your set screw. Last but not least, if you have to do an entire handle replacement, which isn't common, but if you do, you get all the necessary components and instructions with the handle replacement kit. To remove the handle, you're going to peel back the sticker and you're going to expose a tiny drilled hole. Then you take your 5/32 Allen wrench or 4mm Allen wrench. You're going to go through that hole, and that allows you to position the Allen wrench to unthread the 2 set screws that hold this handle on. Once that's complete, you can pull the handle assembly off, install the new one per the instructions, and with the same procedure, tighten these set screws, and then you'll also get a new label to install over the handle.